Well, while there are disagreements as to whether the overall economy is in a recession, the housing market may already be there. Sales of previously owned homes fell 6% in July when compared to June. At the same time, the median price of an existing home sold was nearly 11% higher than a year ago. The chief economist for the National Association of Realtors explained it this way, quote, "We are witnessing a housing recession in terms of declining home sales and home building. However, it's not a recession in home prices. Inventory remains tight and prices continue to rise nationally." So let's bring in Uri Man. He is Executive Vice President of Land Tejas and Head of Lagoon Development. Uri, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Nicole.
All right, so these numbers, you make it seem like we are officially in a housing recession. Maybe not when it comes to price, but what does that mean for prospective buyers and then prospective sellers?
So right now it is still very much a seller's market. I mean, you talked about the prices. That's the real story. Prices have still gone up year over year. The prices continue to go up, and that's because there's no inventory. And if you look at the new housing supply, never in the history of the country have we seen builders purposely throttling back on the numbers of homes that they're building because they are not being able to deliver the homes in time to meet consumer demand. There's so much demand for housing. It's estimated that right now in this country we have a lack of somewhere between 1 and 4 million housing units from lack of supply being built over the last 10 years. And even with these interest rate increases, the real story is that there's just not enough inventory. Everybody can drive down their street. They see there's no for sale signs on the properties. People are really comfortable in terms of their values and the homes that they've purchased. The prices continue to go up. There's a lot of equity. There are very few foreclosures. So that's the real story. And unfortunately, you see in the news a lot of sensationalism about, okay, we're in a housing recession. There's because they're pointing to the number of sales going down. But the number of sales is not the real story. There's just not enough inventory. So, of course, you're going to see fewer and fewer sales.
Right, if the inventory doesn't exist there. All right. So you mentioned the fact that, obviously the Fed had done these rate hikes trying to slow the rate of inflation. So Uri, you are the expert here. Is the current situation we are now in, is this a surprise?
No, it's not a surprise here. They're going to continue to raise interest rates to fight inflation. And if you look at what this impact is on someone buying a home, so basically if you look from the low to the high, somebody buying a house, their payment typically in the United States based on an average home price, it might have been $1,900 a month when interest rates were at this lowest and $2,500. So somewhere in the range of $500 or $600 a month difference. That's a big difference. But because the builders have had fantastic profits and their profit margins are really great, there's a lot of room for them to buy down interest rates. So today you can still go to a builder. Most of our public builders and our regional builders, they will sell you a home and they're advertising that they'll sell it to you with a 4.5% interest rate. And that's because they're able to buy down the rates. So it's still a great time to buy a home. You can get it at a reasonable rate. And there's no indication for now that there's going to be any significant price adjustments in most major markets to the negative. In fact, the only types of places that you're going to see significant price decreases in the short term are places like maybe Austin or Boise, Idaho, places where basically you had such high run-ups that there's room for significant price reduction because the prices went up so high. But in most markets, because there's no inventory, there's a real lack of inventory, we're going to continue to see price appreciation.
So we're, basically not seeing those prices go down. All right. Uri Man, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, Nicole.
Sounding an alarm. Senate Minority